YouTube, new video here from Vegas Scents. In this video, we're going over a fragrance that I've actually had for a few months now, and just now getting to putting out a video for this particular fragrance. And that goes by Lowe Immortal by Maison Alhambra. All right, and so as you can see, man, this particular bottle looks very similar to the Louis Vuitton bottle. And this is a clone of Louis Vuitton's L'immensite. So this particular fragrance, it does have a lot of similarities to this particular fragrance, the Alhambra Silver from Lattafa. And the main differences between these two fragrances are this particular fragrance, you get like a really sort of zingy grapefruit and ginger, in the opening with this one. And then it just kind of settles into like grapefruit, ambroxan, sandalwood, in the dry down. Whereas with this one, you get grapefruit, ginger, and bergamot in the opening for this one. And then you do have sort of like some spices in the mid for this one. So this one definitely is a little bit more spicier. But you get like an ambery touch to this particular fragrance. And it's not like a heavy amber. It's not like that. So this is going to be like a really sort of fresh amber, like kind of, I would say the same type of amber that you get in like that, like Ombre Nuit from Dior, that type of amber. That's the same type of sort of fresh aromatic amber that I get with this particular fragrance. Now, also a difference I would say between the Lowe Immortal and Alhambra Silver is the performance. So with this one, I tend to get about 7 hours or so, maybe a little bit more if you go heavy on your clothes with this one. And with the Lowe Immortal, I get definitely over 8 hours, 8 to 10 plus hours. So this is definitely the longer lasting fragrance. It does have some heavier notes, within especially within the base of this particular fragrance. So I think that definitely helps with the longevity. In terms of projection, this one is also a pretty strong performer. I get probably about a foot and a half, or not a foot and a half, arm's length or so, projection for at least about the first hour and a half, 2 hours or so. And then it does kind of settle down and get, a little bit closer to the skin after that. But it still remains at a pretty decent strength, I would say, all the way until, this fragrance sort of just completely dies out off of your skin or clothes. Now, in terms of like the situations that I would wear this particular fragrance, I would say it really would be in the same situations that I would wear something like this. So, summer, spring, really anytime I would say when it's sort of warm outside. I think you could probably wear this all year round, especially living out here in Las Vegas where it doesn't really get super cold in the winter. But this isn't really something that I tend to reach for when it gets cooler out here. Like I said, this is definitely something that's more so for like spring and summer. I would say the coolest weather that I really reach for this in is probably around like the high 50s, low 60s or so. That to me is the minimum temperature that I think that this really performs best in. So definitely keep that in mind. Also, for situations, this one to me, I think is pretty versatile. You could definitely wear this at work, and I think it would be pretty inoffensive. You could wear this to a formal event, and I think that it would go well with that. I also think, that it would be like a good date scent. Maybe not necessarily something that I would necessarily reach for for a date in the nighttime, But if this was like an afternoon date or something like that, or we're going to get brunch or breakfast, like this would definitely be a good choice, I would say. This definitely performs best, in my opinion, when, the sun is out for the most part. All right. But it can definitely still be worn at night. No problem, I would say. So this fragrance, man, if you haven't picked this up or if you didn't know that this exists, you can pick this up at tripletraders.com. I believe they're probably the site who I've seen this for the lowest price at. There's also a few other Louis Vuitton, clones within this line from Jean Lowe. There's a Ombre Nomad clone. I don't remember exactly what the name of that particular fragrance is, but it has darker juice. And then there's another one that looks similar to this one called Novu or something like that. That's another Louis Vuitton clone. But so far, at least within this Maison Alhambra Jean Lowe line, this is the only like fresh Louis Vuitton fragrance that they've cloned so far. I'm not really sure why, because I feel like for the most part, the Louis Vuitton fragrances that are most popular are, more so like the freshies like this, Afternoon Swim, Imagination, those types of fragrances. So haven't been able to find clones for those yet, at least not in this line, or not really for any other company other than like Alexandria. But I'll continue to look and, definitely bring those clones to you all as I find them. All right. So overall, man, this is a really solid fragrance. Definitely, if you already own this, I would say that these two are definitely different enough to where I think you could still enjoy both of them and still not really feel like, they're super redundant, because they do definitely have, some differences to them. All right. So let me know if you all have smelled this particular fragrance, Jean Lowe Immortal, and let me know what your thoughts on it are. How close is it to the original? That is something that I do plan to find out as soon as I can get my hands on a sample of L'immensite. But yeah, man, let me know how close you think this is to the original if you've smelled both. Also, please like the video, drop a comment below, and also share this video if you found this information helpful. That's Jamar from Vegas Sense. I'll see y'all in the next video.